They called me cruel, heartless, a monster. But none of them were there when I was the one bleeding out inside, begging for someone to care. Now they want my help, the same people who let me burn. And I can't stop thinking, maybe this is exactly how it's supposed to end. I found out my ex-husband was cheating on me with my own sister. That betrayal burned so deep that I walked away from the entire mess, him, my sister, and my toxic family. I built a new life, and for years, I didn't look back. Fast forward to now. I'm 32, married to Ryan, and we've been together for 6 years. And honestly, it's been good. Real. We've had our share of fights and rough patches like any couple, but we've grown stronger through it. I finally felt like I'd left the chaos behind. Then, 8 months ago, everything shifted. My sister Star, she's 28 now, moved back to our hometown after living in Florida since she was 18. Her long-term boyfriend dumped her out of nowhere, packed up, and left. She said he cheated on her with men. I didn't know the guy well, but honestly, it didn't sound like him. I'd met him maybe 3 times total, Christmas visits, and once when Ryan and I visited them during vacation. The guy didn't give off double life energy, but then again, who really knows? I tried reaching out to him once, blocked. So I dropped it. Star moved back in with my parents, Gina and Jimmy. For the first month, she struggled to find work, so I did what any decent sister would do. I suggested Ryan help her out. He's pretty high up at his company and has connections. He pulled some strings, and just like that, she landed a position in his department. Right in her field, too. Now, I need to be honest here, Star and I have never been close. She was always the golden child. Mom adored her. Dad, well, Dad's never had a spine when it comes to Mom. It wasn't in-your-face favoritism, it was 1,000 tiny cuts over the years. When we turned 16, she got a shiny 2-year-old Mitsubishi Eclipse. I got an 8-year-old Dodge Neon that rattled like it was held together with duct tape. Her dance competitions cost thousands, and my parents didn't blink. Meanwhile, I asked for $50 for a volleyball camp once, and you'd think I was asking for a yacht. And the double standards? Brutal. At 17, I came home 15 minutes past curfew and lost my car for an entire month. The next year, Star stumbled in 2 hours late, reeking of weed, and all she got was a stern little talk. I wasn't exactly sobbing when she left for Florida. But after she moved back, something weird happened. She started spending a lot of time at my house. At first, I thought maybe, just maybe, she was finally trying to rebuild some kind of sister bond. But soon, I noticed, her and Ryan were getting really close. They'd sit and talk about everything, work, movies, random life stuff, for hours. They started having their own inside jokes. If I tried to join in, they'd brush me off with just a work thing. Ryan told me they just had a lot in common and were working on projects together. Then the red flags started piling up. I work late, 10 to 7, while Ryan has a normal 8 to 4:30. I'd come home, and Star would already be there. A lot. And whenever I asked, it was the same excuse, we had some work stuff to finish up. 2 months ago, something happened that made my stomach twist. I make our bed every single morning, and I have a habit, I always tuck the pillowcases so the open end faces the outside edge. That day, Star had been over. Later that night, when Ryan and I got into bed, 2 pillows were flipped. The openings faced inward. I asked him gently, "Were you in the bed today?" His face tightened just for a second before he said, "No." "Why?" I told him the bed wasn't the way I left it. He laughed it off, said I must have been mistaken. But I wasn't. I know how I make that bed. I went through his phone, his laptop. Nothing. Of course, there wouldn't be. They worked together every day, then hung out after work. Why would they need to text? But I couldn't shake this crawling feeling in my chest that something was very, very wrong. Then came the dinner. 2 weeks ago, my parents invited us over. Everything seemed normal, until it wasn't. Ryan walked past Star in the kitchen, and she reached out, just lightly, and grabbed his arm. He turned toward her, she leaned in, whispered something, and they touched foreheads. It lasted maybe a second. But it was enough to make my blood go cold. Ryan jerked back like nothing happened and walked away. Star just gave me this little smile. Like she wanted me to see. I'm not stupid. That moment was a hurricane of red flags waving in my face. But my heart? My heart didn't want to believe it. I've loved Ryan since I was 21. I've built my life around us. So I did what terrified people do. I planned a weekend getaway to the city. Just the 2 of us. My goal? To finally ask him what the hell was going on, and pray to God I was wrong. But deep down, I already knew something was cracking. And this? This was only the beginning. Update 1. You guys were right. My world has completely fallen apart. The weekend I had been clinging to, the one I thought might save us, turned into the moment everything shattered. Friday night was perfect. Or at least it felt that way. We had drinks, we danced like we didn't have a care in the world, and we were intimate like we always were when everything felt safe and steady. For a few fleeting hours, I convinced myself that the woman in his arms that night was me, and only me. The next morning, as we got ready to start our day, the words burned in my chest. I almost didn't ask. A part of me kept whispering, he couldn't be doing both. He couldn't be with me like this and with her too. But I was wrong. So I looked him straight in the eye and asked, "Are you having an affair with my sister?" He froze. His eyes filled with tears. And then he said it. Yes. I swear I felt something inside me crack. My chest burned, my stomach twisted, and the room went quiet except for the sound of my heartbeat pounding in my ears. I whispered, "Why?" He choked out, "I'm sorry. I didn't mean for this to happen." We just clicked. And before I knew it, we were kissing. Then more. I asked the question that made my hands shake. Were you sleeping with her here? In our bed? He couldn't even say it. He just turned his head away in shame. That was it for me. I grabbed my purse, walked out of the hotel room, and drove home, leaving behind my clothes, my plans, and 9 years of my life. He took an Uber back later that night with the rest of my things, trying to apologize. I couldn't even look at him. I just stood there, silent, tears streaming down my face. He packed a bag and left for a hotel. The next day, I told my parents. And that's when the knife twisted even deeper. They already knew. They said they were sorry about what happened, but casually added that Star had left the night before and probably wouldn't be back for a few days. I knew exactly where she was, wrapped up in the man who was once my husband. That was 3 months ago. Now, our divorce is almost finalized. He moved out immediately, found an apartment, and of course, Star moved in with him. We only speak when it's strictly about the divorce. At first, out of guilt, Ryan said I could keep the house and the savings. But a few days later, he changed his mind. I could practically hear her voice whispering in his ear. Thankfully, I had already moved the savings to a new account, so at least that battle was over. But the house? That's another story. 9 years. Just like that, wiped out like it never mattered. And the cruelty didn't stop there. A few days after I found out, Star tagged me in a Facebook post, a selfie of the two of them. He was behind her, kissing her cheek. The caption? Feeling loved. I deleted the app on the spot. An hour later, she texted me, "Sorry sis, didn't mean to tag you. No hard feelings. I hope we can still be close. You'll meet your soulmate someday too." I blocked her. Everywhere. My parents weren't any better. They pretended to care at first. But when I told them I was cutting contact with Star and Ryan, my mom looked me in the eye and said, "I'm sorry this happened. It shouldn't have happened this way. But your sister deserves to be happy too. You'll meet someone and then we can put this all behind us." Behind us. Like I was just supposed to swallow the betrayal and move on. I told her about the post, about Star's text. She shrugged and said, "Well, you shouldn't be on that stuff anyway." My dad said nothing. When I asked him what he thought, he mumbled, "I agree with your mother," and walked away. That was it for me. I'm done. Done with Star. Done with Ryan. Done with the parents who have always chosen her over me. The house will sell soon. And when it does, I'm leaving this state behind. I won't tell them where I'm going. I won't give them a chance to follow me or drag me back into their twisted little world. I wish them all the worst. And for once, I mean it. Update 2. Hey everyone. I honestly can't believe I'm writing this after 4 years, but something major just happened, and I need to get it off my chest. First, let me start with the good part, me. I'm engaged. Yeah, engaged. It took years of therapy and dragging myself through some really dark places, but I finally found my way back. When I first moved to Minnesota, I thought dating would be easy. I went on one halfway decent date, until the guy showed me just how much of an insufferable jerk he was. After that, I swore off men entirely. That's when therapy became my lifeline. I spent a year unpacking everything, the betrayal from my husband and my sister, the way my parents abandoned me emotionally, the scars left behind. It wasn't pretty. But it saved me. Then, I met James. He's 37. Funny enough, same first name as my dad, which is, yeah, awkward at times, but James is nothing like him. He's kind, grounded, and a chef. He and his twin brother, Jack, own a restaurant and bar together, and they're killing it. He makes me feel safe in a way I didn't think was possible anymore. But let's talk about the audacity of my family. About 9 months after I left and went completely no contact, they didn't know where I was, didn't have my number, nothing. I got a letter in the mail. Inside was a wedding invitation. Ryan and Star's wedding. The invitation had this disgusting, overly romantic photo of them in a sunflower field. And then there was a letter from my parents. I can still hear it in my head. "You need to forgive and put all this behind us. We know things didn't go the best, but we're a family and families work through problems. Star wants you to be a bridesmaid, just like she was for you." What the actual hell? That letter ripped open wounds I'd spent months trying to stitch shut. My therapist probably bought a new vacation home after how many sessions came out of that envelope. Back then, it crushed me. Now, I actually laugh at how tone-deaf it was. I didn't respond. I just figured out which cousin leaked my address and cut them off too. Now, here's where things really get wild. Last week, Ryan showed up at my apartment. Out of nowhere. He looked good. Too good, honestly. Like he spent extra time trying to look presentable. I didn't even let him get comfortable. "What do you want?" I asked. He said, "I just want to talk. I'm so sorry for what I did. Star and I are divorcing. I found out she was unfaithful our entire marriage. I don't expect you to take me back, but we should talk and get some closure." I blinked twice because, was he serious? Did this man really think closure was something I owed him? I looked him dead in the eyes and said, "No. I give you no closure. You made your own bed. Did you actually believe that golden hoe of yours, the one with more guests than the Holiday Inn, was going to put up a no vacancy sign just because you slipped a ring on her finger? You're even dumber than I thought. I forgive nothing. I want nothing from you. I'm better now. And I always will be. You can go to hell." Then I turned around, went inside, and locked the door behind me. I immediately called my landlady, the sweetest older woman alive. We've grown close over the years, and she knows everything. Within minutes, her nephews, who maintain the building, showed up and made it crystal clear to Ryan that he wasn't welcome. If he came back, it would be trespassing and the cops would be called. I hoped that would be the end of it. But of course, it wasn't. The next night, I went to James's restaurant like I usually do after work. It's my safe space now. I hang out while he manages, chat with the staff, feel like part of something warm. It's the family I never had. And then Ryan walked in. He came straight to my table and sat down like he belonged there. It was a slow Tuesday, so James noticed right away and headed over. He recognized Ryan instantly from the photos I'd shown him. Ryan stuck out his hand for a handshake. James didn't take it. He just looked at me and asked, "Want me to kick him out?" "Not yet," I said. "I've got a question or two." Ryan actually perked up, like he thought he was winning something. "What a tool." I asked, "So, what happened between you and Star?" Pure morbid curiosity. And honestly, I enjoyed watching him squirm. He said Star had been cheating with at least 2 married men. Shocker. 2 years into their marriage, it all blew up. I raised an eyebrow. "And did you protect yourself? Or did she take half your stuff?" Ryan smirked. "I stuck it out almost another year so I could stash away savings and sell some assets. She only got a fraction." I leaned back and smiled. "And where is she now?" He sighed. "She moved back in with your parents." I let out a soft, satisfied yes. Exactly what I wanted to hear. Then I said, "You can go now." "James." James turned to him and said flatly, "You heard her. Out of my restaurant." Ryan tried to argue, but I cut him off. No forgiveness. No closure. I just wanted to hear that my loser sister is back where she belongs, living at home. The staff had already clocked the situation. The bartender and 2 servers were giving Ryan death stares. He tucked his tail and left. James added, "And if you ever come back." Ryan waved a hand. Yeah, cops, trespassing, I got it." After he was gone, everyone checked in on me. I was embarrassed, but also, really touched. My future in-laws even called that night. They insisted I stay with James for a few days just to be safe. I can't explain what that meant to me. Having a real family, people who actually care about me. It's something I never had growing up. And Ryan? He hasn't shown his face again. Hopefully, he never will. Update 3. Hey everyone. I honestly didn't think I'd be back here with another update, but life has a twisted way of circling back, doesn't it? First, let me start with where I am now. I'm 41, married, and a mom of 2 amazing little boys. One is 6, and the other is 2. James and I are still solid. Stronger than ever, actually. I work part-time as the office manager for the restaurants now, and about 3 years ago, one of James's cousins bought into the business. We opened a second location, and while it's a lot more work, the 3 of them, James, his brother Jack, and his cousin, are hands-on, so it's balanced out. We've built something successful, something that actually gives us a good life and time together as a family. And funny enough, I'm pretty sure I got pregnant that first time I stayed at James's place after Ryan tracked me down all those years ago. His parents love to joke that it was part of their master plan to make us a family. They absolutely adore their grandkids, and honestly, it melts me. But let's get to why I'm here. Ever since that last encounter with Ryan, I always had this tiny knot of anxiety in the back of my mind, just waiting for the other shoe to drop. I stayed no contact with my family and didn't make it easy for them to find me. But eventually, they did. The first message came shortly after my oldest was born. It was from my mother. She gave this half-hearted, sugar-coated apology, and then, without missing a beat, referred to my son as her grandson. That hit me like a slap in the face. So I wrote back, "You don't have any grandchildren. I'm not your daughter, and my children have no relation to you. If you want grandkids, you should encourage Star to do what she does best." Then I blocked her. She tried again. New accounts, different angles. Every single time, I declined or deleted. I didn't bend. I built this peaceful life, and they had no place in it. But a few months ago, things escalated. I started getting bombarded with messages. From her, from my dad, and eventually, from Star. All of it was the same tune: "We miss you, we want to make amends, we want to be part of the kids' lives." I didn't care. I still don't. But Star's persistence was different. She wasn't being snarky or manipulative. She just kept saying she really needed to talk to me. For 3 weeks. So finally, I agreed to a Zoom call. Just me. No kids. When the call started, they immediately tried to see my boys. I shut that down fast. "You don't get access to them," I said. "They have 3 grandparents already, James's mom, dad, and grandma. That's it." Then I noticed something I hadn't expected. They didn't look good. My parents looked old. Tired. Star looked pale, exhausted, like life had finally caught up to her. They started apologizing, really apologizing, for everything. Even Star. She said she regretted what she did, that she missed her sister, that she wished we could go back. I almost laughed. The idea that I'd ever want to go back was absurd. Then Mom slipped into her usual speech about family and sticking together. When she was done, I just stared at them and asked flatly, "Is that all you got? Because I'm leaving if it is." That's when the facade cracked. They begged me to wait. And the real reason spilled out. Star's kidneys are failing. She's been dealing with health issues for a couple of years. She needs a transplant. And apparently, I'm their golden ticket. I asked, "So this is why you called me? You want me to save her? My husband wasn't enough for her, now she wants a piece of me too." My mother snapped, "Stop being like this. That was a long time ago." And then, of course, the tears started. "I know you hate us, but she's going to die if she doesn't get a transplant. Is that what you want?" She begged. She pleaded. Then my father spoke up. For once. "Look," he said, "we're sorry for what happened. But we've got problems. Between her medical bills and not being able to work, and your mom and I getting older, we could lose the house. We need you to come back to Missouri. Get tested. See if you're a match. And, we could use some help. So there it was. They didn't just want my kidney. They wanted my money too. I said, so you need my kidney and my wallet. Don't put it like that, Dad muttered. Then Star piped up. Her voice was shaky. Please. Just come home. I need my big sister. I don't want to die. If you're not a match, we'll leave you alone forever. I promise. I told them I'd think about it and let them know the next day. That night, I sat down with James. He didn't try to sway me either way, just told me he'd support whatever I decided. I decided to get tested in Minnesota. If I was a match, I'd fly down alone. A week later, I got the results. A perfect match. Of course. I agreed to go back to St. Charles, but on my terms. When I arrived, Star was already in the hospital. Her condition had gotten worse. That conveniently got me out of their repeated family dinner invitations, because honestly, I had zero intention of playing happy family. Even in the middle of all this, my parents kept hinting, almost daily, about helping them with their financial struggles. The audacity never ends. The doctors met with me to go over the transplant process, and I told them I wanted my family present for the conversation. So we all gathered in Star's hospital room, my parents already perched there like they owned the place. I had a feeling they were expecting their old scapegoat to just roll over. But they were about to learn. I'm not that girl anymore. The doctor walked in with a somber expression and began laying everything out on the table. Star had, at best, 6 months left without a transplant. They explained the procedure, the risks, the timeline, and then they looked at me with this reverent, almost desperate relief. They emphasized it over and over. I was a perfect match. Practically a miracle match. They said the odds of finding anyone else compatible were almost non-existent. The sooner we scheduled the surgery, the better her chances of survival. I nodded slowly. Calm. Collected. And then, I walked over to Star. She looked up at me with those big brown eyes, the same ones that had stared into my husband's once upon a time, and for a moment, the whole room felt frozen. Monitors beeped softly. My parents held their breath. I took her hand gently, leaned down, and whispered clearly enough for everyone to hear. Did you hear that, Star? I'm the perfect match. Which basically makes me the only person who can save your life. I paused. Her eyes filled with tears. And I'm not going to. A sharp gasp cut through the air. I straightened my back, my voice steady as steel. You are the most vile, narcissistic piece of gutter trash I have ever known. I came here for one reason, to make sure you understand that the one person who could save you is the same person you betrayed, humiliated, and left to pick up the shattered pieces of their life. And now? Now you're the one who has to live, or die, with the consequences. Her face crumpled. The sobbing started, loud, guttural, desperate. My parents whipped toward me, ready to unleash their fury. But before they could get a word out, I turned to them, my voice low but lethal. Don't you dare speak to me. Don't ever ask me for anything again. The only money I'll ever spend on either of you will be for your funerals, on the strict condition that you're cremated and I get the ashes. So I can flush every last bit of you down the filthiest toilet I can find. The doctor and nurse just stood there, wide-eyed. Silent. I didn't give anyone the chance to respond. I turned, walked out of that room, and never looked back. And now, I'm home. My real home. With my husband. My kids. My family. And I have never, ever felt more free.